All right. Looks like we're live. Okay, let's go. Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for tuning in and welcome to this special live update from ACFCS's Crypto and Web3 Symposium, Rise of the Robots, Man versus Machine, where we're diving deep into the rapidly evolving landscape of cryptocurrency and Web3 compliance. Today, I'm your host, Clayton Norman, for this very short, very special update from our symposium. And just as a reminder, the Web3 and Crypto Symposium is an ACFCS member benefit. So, as usual, if you want access to exclusive events, trainings, tools, all kinds of great content and material like this, head on over to acfcs.org and become a member today. If you do that, you could actually even still join us for the afternoon sessions for the rest of the Crypto and Web3 Symposium. So pay attention. If you like what you're hearing today and you think, man, that would really benefit me in my career, I could use more of that type of information. If you become a member, you can still join us for the rest of the sessions. And also, members will also receive a recording of all the sessions after this is all wrapped up. So you wouldn't have to miss anything. It's all happening at acfcs.org/membership. You can find the registration for the the Crypto and Web3 Symposium under our events tabs. Okay. Also, if you become a member today, you get access to, as I mentioned, hundreds of hours of training. You also get tapped into an incredible community of other fin crime and compliance professionals that will help you take your fin crime and compliance career to a whole new level, upskill, get all kinds of tools, tips, and tricks and strategies that you can use and apply as soon as you walk out of any of our trainings. Again, all right over there on acfcs.org. Today, we've got ACFCS VP for Content, Brian Monroe. He's going to run down the things that he's been seeing and hearing today at the symposium. But before I kick it over to him, we want to hear from you guys. So if you are tuning in to this live stream, head over to the comments section and let us know where you're watching from. There's nothing better than seeing people from all over the world tune in and engage with us. So we want to hear from you. Let us know where you're watching from. Drop your questions and comments into the comment section. And if any of you are also tuning in after you have been attending the morning sessions for the symposium and you're watching this on your lunch break, first of all, thank you. We love it. And let us know what you're seeing. Okay. We want to hear from you. We want to hear your learnings. We want to know what's resonating with you and what takeaways you're going to leave this with, to go apply in your work in your financial institutions or law enforcement agencies or wherever it is that you're going to utilize these skills. So with that said, I'm going to kick it over to Brian. Brian, what are you seeing today? What's happening at the Crypto and Web3 Symposium?
Well, thank you so much for having me, Clayton. This is Brian Monroe, VP of Content here at ACFCS. A little about me, I've been a journalist for 25 years and been in financial crime and compliance for the past 20 years, around 11 years actually, right here at ACFCS. And it is a real pleasure to be here and give our midday update, something we've never done before, so we're trying it new, about this virtual event going on, the Crypto and Web3 Compliance Symposium. But we have speakers. This is why you really should join these things. We have speakers and attendees from across the financial crime and compliance fields, including current and former AML and fraud professionals from banks, crypto exchanges, law enforcement investigators, regulators, and blockchain analytics maestros. So just some examples. We have people from the United States, Canada, Europe, really nearly 80 countries, actually. About more than half are from the USA. We also have people from India, Cayman Islands, Nigeria, UAE, Sweden, Italy, Spain, Germany, Miami, North Carolina, and Texas. So, I'll try to get into as many details as I can here, both kind of broad strokes, history of crypto, some of the latest things we're talking about in our sessions, but I'll give you the very speedy wrap up here. Reader's Digest version. So in our morning sessions, we covered updates on rules, regulations, and an outlook for the near future. In short, overall, there's going to be more regulation for the crypto sector, more oversight when it comes to exams, but also more institutional and consumer interest in virtual assets, with insight and guidance actually provided by the Chief Compliance Officer of Kraken, one of the crypto world's biggest exchanges. We also got an update on fraud, scams, and tactics for consumer protection. And I want you to remember that word protection and add it to your vocabulary for financial crime compliance and really rules and regulations. At nearly $10 billion, almost double from the prior year, crypto scams are not going away. But cross-department, public-private, and cross-sector collaboration and arming customers with knowledge, even reaching out to them, can save lives and life savings. We also talked about and unpacked one of the biggest digital heists ever, the North Korean Bybit cryptocurrency exchange hack, where hackers ironically chose to go after not the company itself, but what was supposed to be a more secure multi-signature smart contract account manager. So in short, the bad guys thought, why go through the front door when I can break in more quietly through the window? So after lunch, we also have some pretty dynamic sessions going on, including crypto crimes, combating money laundering in the AI-enabled era, mixing, tumbling, and blacklisting, sanctions enforcement, and trends in crypto and Web3. And quick little detail here, hopefully we can get into more on this later, but sanctions enforcement, that's actually the biggest number when it comes to the value of scams that are going through crypto, or these, nation regimes like Iran, North Korea, trying to beat sanctions and using crypto to do that. And finally, this is probably going to be, it's always a fan favorite, but Operation Shamrock is fighting back against pig butchering scams and supporting victims led by the incomparable and highly skilled Aaron West. So there's a lot of things, trends that jumped out to me as I listened to our speakers. And you're going to see me jumping back to chatting with Clayton, going through my notes here, kind of roving reporter duties. I feel like I'm back as a cub reporter in a newspaper, and I just covered a court hearing, and I'm typing and talking to the editor. But the example that I really like and that got attendees talking is this concept of, when it comes to compliance, don't just do the technical compliance, kind of the bare minimum to keep the regulators at bay. So when it comes to stopping money laundering, going after global threat actors, it's not just reporting. It's not just detection. It's not just prevention, but protection of your customers. So how can I be a regulatory champion, a law enforcement ally, and customer defender? So in a sense, how can I put the compassion back into compliance? Now, for example, and I love this, I really do love this, some operations, banks, even crypto exchanges, even crypto ATMs have chosen of their own accord to make partnerships with elder abuse associations, state agencies, and government groups that are trying to help and protect seniors. Now, quick side note here, this is a trend we highlighted in several of our other previous virtual events, but the number one way that bad guys get their money when they're going after and scamming seniors is through crypto ATMs. I'm sure you've seen videos on YouTube where a law enforcement person is walking into a 7-Eleven and there's a senior feeding money into this ATM, literally being coached on the phone by a scammer. And the law enforcement person is trying to tell this person, no, that's a scammer. Stop putting your money in there. And you can hear the scammer on the phone saying, don't listen to him. Give me all your money. So some of the ways they did this is they actually went to in-person things, gatherings for seniors, and literally talked to them in person. Other ways, they actually put ads and ran, ads for, hey, watch out for these scams, but not just targeting the seniors themselves, but targeting their kids. So they're trying to say, look, talk to your parents, talk to your loved ones, and make sure that you, as the younger person trying to help your parents, don't let them get scammed, which I thought was pretty innovative, pretty unique. Because again, if they don't get scammed in the first place, they can't lose their money, and that's a problem your compliance department and your fraud department doesn't even have to deal with. So very quickly, back to the basics of the event here. And as Clayton said, this is a free event for members and just one of several major events we have every year to keep professionals on the cutting edge of criminal trends, sector vulnerabilities, and examine their focal points. We had our Future Fin Crime skills in March that focused on bolstering practical skills like better investigations, sharper decision making, amplifying your effectiveness with automation and Gen AI, and more concise and precise suspicious activity reports to law enforcement. And as we all know, in this age of the Anti-Money Laundering Act, really a lot of regulations, it's not about technical compliance anymore, whether you're a bank, crypto exchange, MSB. It's about effectiveness, the fruitfulness of your investigations, how deep they are, how timely, how relevant, and the quality and depth of your SARs, so that immediately when law enforcement reads those, they're strong enough to start an investigation.
Great.
But
I mean, cannot be more important today. And just to reiterate, the value of the training and the understanding that you get when you become an ACFCS member. I want to share this comment. This is from, looks like we don't have the name of this LinkedIn user, but the numerous free events for ACFCS members throughout the year are always high quality and packed full of relevant and current information. My membership and CFCS certification has been paid for tenfold with such valuable industry knowledge. So just goes to speak to the value and impact that you get when you join ACFCS. Also, right now, we have another comment here from David, who just shared, as a seniors champion at my bank, I love this. I think obviously we all understand how important this is. Probably a lot of our listeners, and Brian, I'm sure you're aware, know about the concept of the great wealth transfer that's going to start happening in the next 2 decades, something like 85, I want to say trillion, but I could be wrong about that, dollars in generational wealth being, transferred as the baby boomer generation starts to pass their money on to their kids. So the impact and the value of that elder abuse awareness and training, you cannot overstate in today's climate. Also, just one more, and then I'll let you get back to it. I want to talk a little bit about what else ACFCS has had going on and what's new with ACFCS. But also had one more great comment from Anna. Highly appreciate your insights on client protection and crime prevention in the private sector. And you know what, Anna, that's what we're here to do. That is what motivates us. So, Brian, I don't want to derail it too much. You touched on a few of the things that we had talked about, but what's new at ACFCS these days? What other kind of stuff do we have coming up that would be valuable to our members and other financial crime professionals?
No, that is a great question, Clayton. And I know we're all trying to cover a lot of ground here so that you get to know us, what we're about, but also the incredible knowledge we share and the professionals who we engage with. But in a word, yes, there's a lot going on. In another word, a lot. Okay, that's fine. That's 2 words. But, for example, this year we released an updated certification with new analysis of trends, rules, regulations, case studies, and enforcement actions, and new ways to learn with multimedia videos and AI-infused podcasts. They are fun, they're interesting, they're humorous, they're memorable. I helped create and review them, so I really had a lot of fun doing that. We also started a workshop series earlier this year covering how to file better SARs, and we're having another workshop in June on the wildly popular topic of open source intelligence, again with deep discounts for members. Last week, we released a new free training course for members on check fraud, which has seen a massive resurgence over the past few years, interlinked also with the huge rise in mail fraud. And we'll be releasing soon a multi-part course on human trafficking. Again, several hours, fantastic course. I'm going through editing this now. That is, again, deeply discounted for members.
That's great stuff. Again, cannot overstate the value that you get for your membership. You get access to all of those tools. Again, it is literally hundreds of hours of training. We have incredible resources. And one thing that Brian didn't mention is our State Your Case podcast, which is an incredible true crime podcast where we interview real life investigators who have cracked some of the wildest financial crime cases that you've ever heard of. But to bring it back to the symposium today, Brian, I think you laid out really well the context of why it's important that people are thinking around crypto, but let's just take a wider view and take a little bit of a step back. And can you just, for anybody who's not completely aware, what is crypto? What is it that we're talking about here, and why is it so important that we know about how to address issues around financial crime related to cryptocurrencies right now in this moment?
Well, one of the issues is cryptocurrency overall still very new. With the launch of Bitcoin in 2009, I mean, back then it traded for less than a dollar. But then people are like, well, what is Bitcoin? Is it monopoly money? No. Bitcoin is a decentralized digital currency that allows people to send and receive value over the internet without relying on a central authority like a bank or a government. Now, why it's such a store of value that's always in the news is one, it's wildly fluctuated. So in 2017, it topped out at like $19,000 for one Bitcoin. Now, that's why you hear things like crypto bros and billion-dollar crypto bros and things like that. These are people that invested a moderate amount early, but because the value went so high, they're multi-billionaires many times over. But Bitcoin also hit an all-time high in late 2021 of nearly $70,000. Now you might be thinking, wow, great. Why isn't everyone doing this? Well, because just as high as these things fly up, they can fall nearly just as quickly. The term from 2022 and 2023 with major platform collapses like FTX, Terra Luna, you have a term called the crypto winter, where these values fell dramatically. And then you have, like we talked about today, these high profile hacks from North Korea, the Lazarus group stealing, more than $500 million at a time from crypto exchanges. So there are reasons that people want to get into this. Bad guys, you get to move money quickly, move it internationally. It's typically, irrevocable once it's gone, and it's moved through mixers, privacy coins, crypto exchanges in Southeast Asia that don't have AML programs like we do. The money is gone. But there's also incredible transparency because these transactions that take place, like Bitcoin, you can track them on the immutable blockchain. But the issue, always the challenging issue that has been for years, is tying that transaction back to the actual flesh and blood person who did it, which, as you'll find out in a minute, the answer to that question is spawned an entire industry.
And so I think a lot of people are under the perception that crypto is a completely anonymous type of transactional currency, but that's not exactly right. Can you talk just a little bit more about that?
So that a lot of times it kind of was anonymous because nobody had the tools to make that connection. All you would see is this string of numbers, and this bad guy did this transaction. But really, that's not anonymity because you can see the transaction happen. You could see where the exchanges it touched, the wallets it touched. Are those wallets tied to a sanctioned entity? Are they tied to other frauds? So technically, the term is pseudo-anonymous or pseudonymous, meaning the transactions are recorded on this public ledger and can potentially be traced back to individuals, but you'd have to use very advanced analytics.
All right. So as we go into the afternoon sessions, what are you looking out for? What are you most excited to start learning about? And also, guys, if you are tuning in and you are going to go to these afternoon sessions, or if you have any questions or comments about this, please drop them in the comments section. But Brian, as we head into the afternoon sessions for the Web3 and Crypto Symposium, what's on your mind? And what are you most excited about learning about here in the afternoon sessions?
Well, a couple, it's funny. I was worried about having filling the air. Well, I should have worried about that. Okay, there's always too much good content to get through, not enough time. But the one thing is this concept of pushing and this goes for both crypto exchanges and fiat banks. There's a lot of lessons they can learn from each other of always ascribing to the fundamentals, accurate customer risk ranking, accurate customer due diligence, enhanced due diligence, know your customer information at the outset of that relationship, but also pushing the front line of financial crime past the front line, past your tellers, past your business line, past your customer service people, and arming knowledge to the people actually using your platforms. Um, and like I said, this might even be if you're a Bitcoin ATM operator, taking the time to go and have training sessions or have some documents handy, a checklist, a red flag list right there on the counter. So if you see an older, confused person walking in, kind of, well, how do I use the Bitcoin ATM? Where do I put this stack of cash? That person has the wherewithal to say, you know what? Maybe you shouldn't do that. Just wait a minute. Let me call the sheriff's office. Just wait a few minutes. The other thing I'm really excited about is just the session that's coming up on pig butchering. My goodness, we've talked about this in prior sessions, but there's a very strong crypto connection, Clayton. Pig butchering has become one of the most devastating scams, again, in the billions of dollars each year, targeting everyone in any country right now. And there's several reasons for that. One is it is so profitable that there are scam centers growing, a lot of times in Southeast Asia and India, but they're literally being staffed by bad guys who are engaging in human smuggling to victimize other victims, to once they get in that scam center, to make calls and victimize people all over the world. And why the scams are so devastating is it's not just a romance scam. It's not just an investment scam. It's not just a crypto scam. It's all of those put into one where they get to know you. You fall in love with them. They don't get to know your bank assets. They get to know all of your assets, and they want to take all of that. But what you don't realize is you're looking at a crypto platform that they control all the numbers. And right when you think you're a crypto millionaire, they pull all of your money out. You've mortgaged your house. You've taken away your kids' investment and tuition funds. You've given them everything. And they literally leave you financially, fiscally, mentally, emotionally destitute. And that's why they call it a pig butchering scam. I think it was, the original term was from China. It's like Sha Zhu Pan, but it literally means to eat you from snout to tail.
That is that's some terrifying stuff. So outside of that session, what are the things that you hope that our attendees today are going to be able to take away from our sessions and apply in the real world as soon as they walk? I guess it's a virtual event, so I guess as soon as they walk away from their laptop and go back to work. But what are going to be the takeaways? How do our members and viewers today take this information and apply what they've learned at the symposium today in the real world?
I would say it's all about, number one, refreshing, refining, sharpening the fundamentals. Try to teach and train your staff on all areas of financial crime, so that whether you're working at a crypto exchange, whether you're working at a bank, whether you're working at a bank who works with crypto exchanges, you all are almost seeing the world as if you yourself are a law enforcement officer. So that way you'll know the red flags of human trafficking, the red flags of a pig butchering scam, the red flags of maybe even a hack that's happening at your institution. That kind of cross training of your team, I think in this day and age, particularly if you're at a smaller operation, is vital. The other piece is taking that sense of collaboration and information sharing and expanding it like you never have before. For instance, make sure your fraud team and your AML team and your cybersecurity team are constantly in communication, sharing information. Now take that a step further. Under formal rules like Patriot Act Section 314B, you can share information between a crypto exchange and a crypto exchange, and a bank and a crypto exchange, and even engage in public-private partnerships with law enforcement in your region. Now take that a step further. If you really want to be a part of the solution and not part of the problem, make sure you be part of cross-region, international teams fighting financial crime. And now this is the new vanguard. I chatted with you a little bit in our practice session, Clayton, but cross-industry collaboration and sharing information partnerships. Because this is what is happening right now, and it is absolutely ascribes to crypto, is bad guys are going to a bank and doing a transaction. Then they're going to an MSB and doing a transaction and a scam. And then they're going to a retailer and getting prepaid cards below ID limits. Then they're taking that and they're starting a crypto exchange account and moving money that way. The bad guys are literally skipping between industries so that no one institution, not even institution, so that no one industry can put all the pieces together. And that's what's happening right now, is institutions that are not technically, pieces of them are subject to AML rules, but broadly, they're not subject to AML rules. They're still trying to partnership to fight these frauds so that the bad guys can't get away through the cracks. And you can track them wherever they go.
All right. That's just about time for us today. We want to make sure that everybody has a chance to grab a little lunch. If you are attending the symposium, we'd still love to hear from you. This video will live on our LinkedIn and YouTube channels in perpetuity. So feel free to drop your comments in there. If you have other questions and you're viewing this video, in the future, we will definitely respond to anything there. Thank you so much to Anna and Sabrina and David for your comments and everyone who tuned in. We are so excited that you joined us just for this quick update. If you're not a member, today would be a great day to become an ACFCS member, and you could still make it to our afternoon sessions and hear from the very people that Brian just talked about and take away some of the incredible, vast volumes of knowledge that they're going to be sharing with you. So thank you very much for tuning in. This has been just a special live update from our crypto our Web3 and crypto symposium today, stacked with experts sharing their knowledge. You could be learning from them if you were an ACFCS member. The URL is right there, acfcs.org/membership-overview. Go there, become a member today. Thank you, everybody who tuned in. Stay vigilant.
Thanks, everyone.